Hola Madridistas. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. If you guys are new here, don't forget to smash the likes and subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 3K. Pick up our sponsors. As always, Manscaped. Go check them out. LBA20 to get 20% off and free shipping on manscaped.com. Pick up Fanatics as well. Go through our affiliated link so that they know you guys came through us. Obviously, the biggest sports apparel collection online, official partners of Madrid and La Liga. Go show them some love. Also, go check out Talksport, probably the biggest sports radio station in the world. Everything LBR and all the podcasts and fan cams and watch alongs are officially powered by the Talksport Fan Network. Go show them some love. Right, let's get into business, Jacob. It's been a while, you and me. I don't know where to start. You were mentioning that the first half was so dull that you didn't know what to really talk about for the first half. But we have to kind of basically commit to the commitment and
Yeah,
talk about it. It was an
I
eyesore.
yeah, man.
Let's be
I feel
honest.
like we can start right at the start of the match. Like, let's go with the lineups.
Mm.
Was this the lineups that we expected? I think so. We,
Yeah.
I think most Madridistas was at least like hoping for something different. But
Hmm.
again, since it's an Ancelotti team, it was just blind hope that we thought
Yeah.
maybe Lucas Vasquez would get the bench and then, well, whatever play there, but
You have to call me out here. I'm the biggest idiot, right? Because I keep trusting this management and our team to basically have something new to talk about. But unfortunately, they just stick to what they think will work. But unfortunately, I'll break it to you. If we keep this up, what are we going to do against the big size in the Champions League? Atleti, if they had any cojones, they would have gone for us, gone for our throats in the second half to kill the game. But we know Atleti; they don't really apply themselves in the way they would want to or their fans would want to, because this was a bigger game for them. If they win, they go on top and then we have to play catch up. But now it's basically Atleti relying on us slipping up.
yeah.
But yeah, man, go for it, Jacob.
Yeah, right off the bat, the lineup again was pretty disappointing. Carlo did not try anything new. He did try out a new tactic though up front.
Mm.
With I was completely avoid. I think Sahel was the one who shared the heat maps with us, and we were
Yeah.
completely avoiding the left hand side. Fran Garcia was not pushing forward. Vinny was coming in toward the center forward position. Mbappe was playing as a central midfielder. I don't know. There was a lot of things that Ancelotti was trying to do. I guess you can
Was it
say.
deliberate? Was it deliberate, or was it just
I think.
because
I think so
because
because we haven't seen
yeah.
like this version of
Mm.
this team, right? That some this team that doesn't attack through the left hand side. That's just
Yeah.
something that we are not used to seeing, and I'm pretty sure that was deliberate. I don't know why it didn't really work out. We didn't create any clear chances. Like in the first half, literally we had zero shots on target.
Yeah. I
So
I needn't I needn't get reminded of that, because it was pretty evident, right? Vinicius was basically central, like you said. Mbappe was central as well, and then you could see all that space down the flanks, and the only guy who was taking note of that was Rodrigo, right? He
yeah,
was the only person who was trying to kind of uh, go toe to toe with Javi Galan and almost bet him, man for man throughout the game. Vinicius, I think the more he kind of drifted out to the left and tried to kind of play his orthodox position, that's where we kind of started to capitalize in the second half. But the
yeah.
first half, like you said, like I have no idea what was the intention. That aside, there were some same old, very familiar um, ploys from us where we just sat back without any sort of intensity, inviting Atleti onto us, and that was what led to the pen as well. Like, why do we sit off teams so much? I mean, it's Atleti. Like, why do we give them so much respect at home? I don't understand. Whereas minnows, they go for this Atleti side that, although some might say they have had their fair share of success this season, isn't really great at defending anymore.
I mean, we've never pressed as a team, and it's probably like the wrong time to do it right now.
Mm,
Even if the opponent is athletic, we just have no experience with this set
mm,
of players pressing for the ball. So might as well sit back. I have no complaints with that. My problem here in this game was This is not the same Atleti that we faced off against them in previous times, right? They
Yeah,
looked much more tame. They weren't able to choke us in possession. We were able to comfortably, play the ball up front, at least into the final. Not really into the final third, but at least until there
yeah,
we could get the ball. They weren't really pressurizing us, so we didn't capitalize on that. We didn't
yeah.
make any runs off the flanks. Our center forwards were too static, and even when we did get the chance to cross, there was basically no movement, nothing that any creative player could do. So, for me, the first half is okay. We did have a defensive lapses. Lucas Vasquez didn't look great. Uh, the midfield maybe gave the ball away a couple of times, but for me, it was just the attack that was so disappointing that made the first half almost unbearable to watch.
Let's talk about the right side. I mean, we have talked about this to death, right? Lucas Vasquez and Chouameni was never going to work. It will never work, right? Like going into City, like I'm pretty sure this is going to be the template, right? It's going to be Chouameni and Vasquez again donning the right hand side, and like yeah, I get the framework, right? Like it was always evident, even when Carvajal was a right back. When a right back pushes forward and tries to pin, their wing back and create an overload, it is basically Fede, you know, covering that gaping hole. But I do think that the Vasquez situation basically just lets top quality opposition get in behind us time and time again. Like every time they broke, I felt like it was a disaster waiting to happen. Jacob, like I hope these guys, they have enough evidence on their hands to actually do something about it. And we did try Fede at right back. Do you think losing him in midfield is that much of an issue so that they just completely disregard that option against top tier sides?
And what are we exactly losing in defense when Vasquez, I
Mm,
mean, Valverde plays on the right? In the midfield, you saw what role he had today. I mean, he was
mm,
just sitting back, trying to break up attacks, trying to start them. He did start off a couple of good attacks, but the point
mm.
is he has like almost nil impact when it comes to the attack in front, unless the opponent is tired. They leave like
Yeah.
a big gaping hole for him to run through. So either way, I don't think we're getting the best out of Valverde in this formation. So might as well, take out our weak right back and put him in there.
It's so clear to us laymen, right? Like we are not paid to do this. We are just fans. We don't have the luxury of actually going into the nitty gritty, and yet we can pinpoint out the fact that with this right hand setup, we are not going to win anything. Like I'll be very very honest. Like I want Carlo to be here forever. I want like these guys to basically rule
I mean,
this team. Like
I don't know,
so
Sunil. I
many.
mean,
Mm,
okay, we can complain about it, but let's say we put Valverde on the right, so Kamavinga
mm.
would take his place, and I don't know, like, will that really improve our attack? I don't think so. It'll certainly
It
improve.
won't, but it will give us a lot more defensive solidity. That's what, like, I do think, bro. Like, I'll be very honest. Our attack looks stagnant, right? Like when we are at our lowest, our attack just lacks ideas. They just run into each other. Vinicius and Mbappe, they don't really have that telepathic understanding, like the Benzema and the Cristiano used to have. I mean, they're in their first season. We have to give them time to kind of get used to each other and whatnot. But still, again, they aren't really playing in their positions, are they? They're just trying to cover for each other. But my thinking is, yes, half like the first half is always going to be part of the equation when Carlo is at the helm, right? But when the game gets a bit stretched, these guys, they can pull things out of the hat that probably no other attack force in European football can do at this moment in time. They are just that brilliant individually, so they just can make things happen. But meanwhile, we have to shut up shop going the other way,
It's
right?
true. That's
We
true.
need a platform for these guys to unlock defenses. Like if we already are trailing by 2 goals in a Champions League knockout game, it takes a toll on the attackers. But I get your point, Jacob. It's not going to necessarily improve our overall game or allow us to dominate opposition. But I do think it sets us up better, in a better position to see off the tie. Not probably phases, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not going to be like, I think it's like you said, it's not going to win any matches, but it's certainly going to help
Mm,
help us stay
mm.
solid. Yeah, I totally agree with that. At least I gotta give props to Ancelotti at least for playing one player in the first half. That's the Fran Garcia, and he gave him strict instructions not to for him too much forward. Let's just stay back. Cut up those
Yeah,
counter attacks, and I feel like it suited him really well. It was one of his better games.
100%. Frank Garcia, like I've always said, like defending Mendy has taken a toll on me. I'll be very honest, because I've run out of options to kind of give him leeway for. But Fran Garcia, whenever he has featured, especially in La Liga, has been one of our standout players. Whether it be his work rate, whether it be his quality of delivery. I mean, he puts in decent crosses. It's just the fact that apart from Jude Bellingham, there's no one alive in the box to capitalize on those kind of chances. But yeah, like you said, I'm pretty impressed with him defensively as well. Like he has enough pace to get back. He has, I do think, improved a bit positionally. His reading of the game over the last couple of years has gotten better. But my question is, on Tuesday at the Etihad, will you start Fran?
I don't know.
Defending the combination. I mean, they're not great, but defending the combination of Foden, Haaland, Omar Marmoush.
Like, to be fair, like I'm fine with either both Mendy and Fran Garcia starting. Like I don't think it makes too much of a difference. I feel like the game will be one more on the right hand side. If Vasquez is gonna play, that's gonna be a game changer for at least for Man City.
Yeah, game changer for City. He got a standing ovation. Like I was sending questions to ask him. I mean, to basically kind of ask the people what they thought about Vasquez, and he was kind of sending me laughing emojis, mentioning that he got a standing ovation. I was like, he got a standing ovation because he's a club legend. He has the status of someone who has done so much over the years. They're not going to turn on him. I'm not going to turn on him. You're not going to turn on him as well, right? Like he is one of us, but he is clearly out of his depth because there isn't a capable centre back to cover for his deficiencies. Like I do think if Militao and Rudiger plays, he can do a much better job.
Definitely.
Although he wouldn't be a 10, but he's definitely serviceable. That's the whole reason why Vasquez started playing right back. But yeah, moving on. First half, Asensio decent. Had a couple of good interceptions. The pen. We have to talk about the pen though.
Yeah.
People say that our grievances are partly due to the fact that we moan too much. But if we aren't really voicing those things, who else would? Like I don't think anybody else has the cojones or the guts to actually call them out. But what happened tonight again is another, really bad blemish on what is the state of refereeing in Spain in general. Like, how do you call that a foul in the first place? But then wait 5 minutes for it to be reanalyzed and then call the on-field referee over to basically, you know what happens, right? It's such an immense psychological pressure on the man who is reffing the game, right? Like when he's called onto the monitor, it's basically he have to really go with the decision of the VAR. Like it's almost like like we are calling you here because there is a 70% chance this might be an incident that you misread earlier. What is your take on it, Jacob? Like how do you
I'm not gonna blame Sotograto for this decision. I feel like the blame was completely on VAR. They're right in calling, maybe asking their referee for the opinion of it, but I think what's problematic in this particular case was they did not have the right angles. They did not have the right freeze frames to actually show the ref that if there was contact or not. The referee was basically doing a guessing job, just looking at the tiny screen to see if and asking for different angles. They did not have a clear angle on if this was a foul or not. The only it wasn't a freeze frame. It was an angle from really far away that showed that there wasn't really any noticeable contact, and Lino basically made the most of it, and the referee wasn't shown that particular video.
I mean, Lino is very fucking clever, right? Like he rolled on the floor for 3 minutes. To force, the referee to, because Chouameni isn't even looking at him. Like, can you blame Chouameni though? Like, is that too much of a fault on him?
I would say an experienced centre back, he wouldn't just put his foot out unnecessarily.
Simple as Jacob. That's what I thought. Like, but then people would blame me. Oh yeah, you're enabling the bad refereeing. You're enabling the culprits
Man, this
who
wasn't a
rob
case
us.
of bad
But
refereeing. It's just that
mm,
VAR did us wrong, man. Like
mm.
if
but
especially
that
they don't have a
VAR
clear
is
yeah, they don't have a clear freeze frame that that showed it was definite
mm,
contact. They didn't really need to
yeah.
call the referee over. They could have just made the decision by themselves. They had like a shitty video, but at least it it's better than whatever they showed photographer.
Mm. I'll be very honest. Tomorrow the Madrid papers, and not just the Madrid papers. Our television, RMTV as well, is gonna be having a big slumber party to to celebrate the huge chunk of meat they have. To be pushed out throughout the entire week. I do think this is gonna basically boil things over. Like, even if people were thinking this wasn't really breaking point, I do think this is now. Javier Tebas and everyone involved is going to be put under severe pressure, because without that goal we might win the game.
Yeah,
I don't think Atleti, they had their fair share of chances. We'll get to that, but without that, I don't think Atleti get away with anything from the Bernabeu. Um, yeah, like, I don't want to give these guys too much limelight. Like, I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired, to be very honest, because
uh,
the amount of times, Jacob, we have been watching La Liga for years, right? But it hasn't never been this bad. I mean, even VR was introduced, it wasn't never really this much interference, right? Now they delve into it so much that you look at a 50-50 and you're almost second guessing yourself. Oh, is that going to be called back?
yeah.
Because it's that silly. It's that silly. Like, I don't see this much pettiness in the Champions League, where it's so strong-handed that if something is clearly obvious, yeah, they would take a look. But apart from that, everything's waved on. They encourage physical play. They encourage those old school 50-50s a lot more in the Champions League, and it's for a reason. Like, you shouldn't be dictating the flow of a game. You are there to basically point out errors that happen. Like, you're not there to disrupt how two teams want to approach the game. It's absolutely ridiculous, man. Like, and we have been through periods, an era, especially if you look at the last 10 years, those kind of teams have faded. But, there were so many high, um, high priority, or, top tier teams, like the Getafes, like the Atleti, who used to actually do this to, a great extent, and get away with it. And there was no VAR to basically enforce such things. So we understand why VAR is in place, but it definitely does take away from what is meant to be a sport that doesn't need to be dictated from the sidelines. Um, yeah, it just looks like like there is a long way to go for VAR to sort themselves out. Um, but let's talk about the Atleti chances in the first half. Javi Galan, I felt like, man, like, this guy, like, I've never seen him take a good shot in his life, right? I've seen him in his time with Celta as well. Decent, decent wing back. I rated him. He could play for one of the top sides in Spain, and he rightfully got his move recently. He was let in, bro. I thought at one point Thibaut is going to be struggling with him, on the breakaway.
Yeah,
This is Javi Galan. Like, if we let Guardiola in, just imagine. Like, he is someone who has made a name for himself, scoring goal after goal. I think he scored last week in the Premier League. I'm not sure.
I think so.
Not
Yeah,
not against Arsenal, the game before. I think he did score.
yeah.
So it's looking like we don't have answers to basically solve situations down our flanks. Neither it be either it be the left flank or the right flank. Even the right flank. Raul Asensio got so nervous that he had to go to ground to basically who was it, to stop Simeone's son, Giuliano.
Yeah.
Yeah, Atleti chances, man. Like, was I wrong in mentioning in the group chat? If they converted, 3 or 4 of their chances, it would be a different game.
These aren't like clear chances that you expect a 2 or 3 nil.
But they're very dangerous. I mean, they
Yeah,
are in dangerous positions.
yeah, in dangerous positions, but at least for me, I feel like we were the bigger threat on the night. Um, that just goes to my comment, right? This was a very tame Atletico performance, man. I feel like they didn't go all out, and if they really had their backs against the wall, I feel like they could have gotten away with the result because that's how bad our defense is. And even with the half-hearted attempts with which they went into the attack, they were able to carve out some decent chances, like you said.
Fair enough. I did think that Atleti, although you might argue that we had the clearer chances, I do think every time they broke, I was very nervous, man. I'll be very honest. I was like, yeah, this is just a matter of time before they score 1 or 2.
Yeah, remember when you're in the second half when Llorente left Fran for dead, and then just that light touch intercepting the cutback. I mean, that saved our ass. Otherwise, that would have been a goal.
Yeah. They had a couple of crosses also flashed across the box, if you remember, in the second half. But yeah, let's go through a few of the comments before we move into the second half. Big up Ashik was mentioning with the makeshift defense, we didn't lose, and that is a big deal. That is a big deal. But what does it say about this team, Jacob, right? Can we, like compared to where we were last season, can we really realistically call our side, that has the traits of a league-winning, Champions League winning side?
I mean, maybe we can win the league, man. Like with this team, but again, that's going to be hard with us being so inconsistent. But a Champions League winning team, nah, hell no. Just look at our backline. We can maybe scrape through at the end of this month, still somehow be alive with the Champions League. But beyond that,
and Rudiger comes back.
Back. I just don't see how we can get away with this long term, man. Someone is going to punish us, and it's going to be one of these teams in the Champions League.
People say, if we lose against the City, it's going to be so bad that they might consider this to be our, biggest embarrassment, especially on a Champions League level since Ajax.
Since Ajax, yeah.
Yeah. I do see glimpses of a Champions League winning side. The win against Valencia, right? The comeback that we had, in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I know why you're laughing, but come on, man. Like most teams would.
Dude, I'm laughing because every single decent team or big team that we faced off the season, it's been a disaster. And in the Champions League, you gotta win against these big teams to actually stand a chance. And I just don't see it. That's why I'm laughing. That's why I'm like.
I'm talking about the league, though. I'm talking about the league in isolation. The Champions League.
About the league, I think we can do it. I think we can win another one.
I mean, then again, you might argue, Barca bet Valencia 5-0
finally
in the semi-finals. I mean, quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Of the Copa del Rey. I was hoping to watch an interesting game, and by the 30th minute, it was 3-0. Game over. And we struggled. I mean, we had to literally be on our knees to win the game. Yeah. Ash was also mentioning Simeone not complaining about the refs today. What a shocker. He wouldn't, would he? Tonight. Big up Flameboy, he was mentioning disappointed on the result, but really happy with the second half performance. Jude should have scored that header. Yeah. Let's talk about the second half, man. I mean, Rodrigo, right? Without him, I do think, this attack really lacks personality. Like, I mean, Vinicius has had his highs, but as of late, his electric dribbling is still a huge facet for the side to excel. But when he gets into those positions, like he doesn't seem to have that killer instinct, that we have associated with him, especially last season.
Yeah. In the second half, he did improve, man. Vinicius did improve. It's just that even when he improved, like his individual qualities were there out displayed. He can take a quick shot. He can dribble past 2 or 3 players. All that's good and good. But when it comes to those playing those 1-2s with Mbappe, with Rodrigo, he really faltered. Like he gave away the ball cheaply whenever he had the opportunity to play them through or have a quick 1-2. That just did not happen.
Even in the first half, the amount of dangerous turnovers that happens because of Winnie is crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And you can even see, even in the second half, you remember that play where he was offside on the header? He took
Yeah,
so long to come back onside. I just don't know how he can
yeah,
do that when we're looking for a goal.
yeah. I don't know. He like you could see in the first half, especially. Probably it's because of the pressure. Probably it's because of people pointing out that he just strolls around after losing possession. Like he was actually putting in a shift. Chasing back after players. When we're out of possession and whatnot. So he did work hard, but like you say, in those kind of pivotal moments, you just expect him to be a lot more alert, a lot more driven, right? Like if you're offside, you haul your ass back so that you give your team a better chance to score the next goal. But yeah, all these man, like they just have no faith in themselves to be on the end of a header. Like when was the last time Vinicius scored a header? Like probably against Valencia a couple of years ago
Yeah,
or something.
it's been a while. That's why again it goes back to the tactics, man. If Rodrigo was not playing out of his skin, if he wasn't
Mm.
able to beat a couple of men, he wasn't
Yeah.
able to get off those back heels. I think we would have been
Mm.
looking at a completely different opinion from the fans today. It was still
Mm.
down to the individual brilliance of Rodrigo, Bellingham, that we carved out those chances. It wasn't because the attack was clicking. These guys have zero chemistry amongst each other, and we've come to February where our season hangs in the balance. It's not looking good.
Mm. What would you say to the argument that we perform better with just the two and not the three? It has been
With just Rodrigo and
discussed to
Mbappe?
death. It's never going to happen. It's going to be Vinny and Mbappe.
Yeah.
Do you
I don't.
think the team performs better and there is a much better dynamic up front?
I wouldn't know because we haven't played that against any of these big teams. I feel like with Mbappe and Vinny and Bellingham.
Uh,
I don't think so.
Against Atlanta away, did Rodrigo start? I think he did, right? I think he did.
Yeah, I think either way, man.
I'm not
Like
sure. I'm
there's
not
just
sure.
not enough sample size to show that these guys just with the front two can do it. We did get some very good results against Minos, against the likes
Mm.
of Salzburg, but I don't think it's going to happen against big teams. I think we're still going to struggle.
What do you think is the major cause of struggle? Is it just the defense being? I mean, the defense is a completely alarming issue in itself, but the midfield, right?
The midfield, the
Ceballos
attack.
has.
Yeah, I
What
mean,
was that, Jacob?
for me, it's the midfield and the attack, the positions
Mm.
that these players take. Somehow,
Yeah.
even when we play in the front two, you saw with Rodrigo and Mbappe, it's still not the
Yeah.
same lineup that we saw. It's not the same game plan that we had last season, for example. Last season, like
Mm.
we were easily able to isolate the opposition defense in transition. Here, we're just not able to have a fast transition through. We're not able to get the ball up front fast enough. So we have to depend on these 1-2 plays, which don't really happen at all in this team.
People are too far apart to even combine, and then when they look like they want to combine, they just run into each other's. Yeah. The less said about the dynamic, the better. But I just hope, man. I just hope in the Champions League, and especially against City,
Yeah.
these guys, who pack a lot of firepower individually, I do think they can turn it on because this City side is a shadow of themselves. They're not really where they want to be. In terms of confidence, in terms of their league position, they're just a team struggling to live off their past glories. So we should absolutely capitalize this moment. And anything but a resounding qualification is going to be another bad indictment on Carlo. Like he's under pressure already. um we should have won this game. We should have won this game and extended the lead. This just looks like it's a matter of time. Like we're going to slip up against another team that's going to basically play an extremely efficient low block, and it's game over. It's basically then putting all eggs onto the Champions League basket and praying. I'm just sick and tired. This team, like it should be really, really, like taking control of these kind of situations, because in the second half, if you remember, like after we scored the goal, there was a 5-minute phase where Atleti were all over the place.
Yeah.
In past years, our A game would be on the forefront and we would kill them off. Period. We just looked like, yeah, we were about to be on the end of something, but nothing never really materializes.
Yeah, even if it did, the finishing was so bad, it just rolled into our luck.
Yeah. And pot shots, Ceballos from range, Fede Valverde, pot shots hoping and praying, yeah, like my boot is gonna bail me out. But yeah, Rodrigo, let's give him some flowers, can we? His ball into the box. I mean, the amount of times he put, like Javi Galan basically took his shot home at one
Yeah.
point, if you remember, Jacob, right? He was so in love with Rodrigo's camiseta, like he was like, yeah, like I'm not gonna buy one of them. I'm gonna just rip this one off and take it home. And he just got a yellow. Like I don't understand. I don't understand this game, at times. Um, but then his brilliance was what led to the goal. I mean, Jude Bellingham should have done better, but that deflection fell into the path of Mbappe. Um, Mbappe and Jacob, like, should we give him praise for basically, being there for a chance to, materialize and capitalizing? Because apart from that, and maybe a couple other runs,
the
Mbappe
run
wasn't
where
really.
Valverde played him through, that was pretty good. What else? Can't remember anything else that was good from Mbappe. I feel like he was playing a little too wide for some reason. This game he was a little too far away from the goal. I feel like it's just the positioning in this game was so weird that you can't give him a lot of props. But you can't really fault him for not getting those clear-cut chances either. It was just the setup and then the players around him, and the chance they never really fell for him. Yeah, but props to him for the goal, man. Like you still need to be aware, even if it's pretty clear he didn't make a mistake, he just fired at him.
Jude Bellingham again should have scored from the header. Like this comment, Flame Boy made. It was mentioning, Jude Bellingham probably should have, buried the game for us there. But it's so evident, right? Like he is just the only man there to basically, do his deeds. Apart from that, Vinicius, if you look at the amount of times Vinicius just strolls around in the periphery, basically just hoping
just makes me so
that
mad.
the ball would come to him.
Yeah. He's just so passive also now. He just expects everything to just materialize out of thin air, and him just doing the final finish or the final pass. That's all he expects to do. He doesn't help out the team really. Apart from that,
that's what set apart, the guys like Cristiano, right? They just work so hard to basically be on the end of something that has absolutely no probability in falling to them, right? Like the amount of work they put into it. I mean, I don't fault Vinny for his work rate essentially tonight overall, but his attacking positioning is just shocking. Like I don't understand what goes through his mind being so off. Like he see Mbappe in the middle, but then he's just letting him do his thing. Like he's not attempting to pull a couple of defenders off Mbappe's trail, make it a bit easier for him. You got to give opposition defenses like Atletis, who are well set, well drilled, something to think about, right? Would you classify this Athletic defense as being mobile? The likes of Jimenez, the likes of being fucking Longley, man, Longley. Like I thought this guy retired. He was that bad, he was that bad. Whenever I've seen him,
Longley is not that bad. I mean, at least playing with a back three, with a back two, yeah, he's pretty bad. Either way, man, like I see your point. This Athletic defense, it's not like the world beaters. It's not like they're the top at the top in terms of physicality, in terms of speed. We could have taken the game to them, but just did not materialize. We just did not have enough good transitions, and but we were so slow in setting up that once we had the ball in the final third, there were 6 defenders instead of the usual 3.
Athletic, props to them, man. If you remember the way Griezmann was striking back, you remember the way Alvarez was putting in the shift. Alvarez was at one point down their right side flank, basically in the right wing back position. Trying to put out fires that he had no right putting out. So that's the kind of. I hope these guys, take the Champions League very seriously, because, like, unless the team works in tandem, unless the team works for each other, because of the lack of quality we have building up attacks and creating chances for ourselves, like we have to be again reliant on what we did at the Etihad last year. I can't imagine going through that again. Like, I don't know if you remember, were you here for the post match? You were here, right? I was pissed, man. Like, I was like, yeah, like I want those 90 minutes back. Like, I'm just grateful that we went through, but the fashion that we did go through, my goodness, Jacob, it takes a toll on you. Right. Ashik was mentioning when Rudiger comes back, it'll be Chouameni and Rudiger, while Asensio will be benched. Fede provides more steel in right back, but Carlo will play Vasquez in right back. Right.
Yeah, 2 done decisions. That's gonna define the season.
100%. Come on, man. These guys have to really, really roll up their sleeves and do what's necessary. Like if you want to take some of the bigger guys off to the bench, do it, man. At the end of the season, if you win the double, nobody's gonna say, "Oh, you didn't play Chouameni," or "You didn't play Rodrigo," or "You didn't play Vasquez." These guys have to really put in the interests of the team and the situation into into perspective, because if they don't win a major title this season, they will be sacked. It's as simple as, they might not be sacked mid-season, but come the summer, it's adios, buenas noches. But yeah, Tosan, right, big up yourself. He was mentioning we need a new coach. Yeah, tell me about it. I've tried defending my boy Carlo, but performances like these, really, man, like we have to wait 45 minutes for these guys to hunt in packs. When I see top tier sides like Liverpool, they go man to man. Inter, their whole back line moves into midfield. I mean,
Dude, like, okay, I don't want to see anything crazy. At least keep the status quo. At least do the basic things that every single coach can do. He's just not even doing that. Like, when did we have our first change? We wanted things to change in the second half. We got a goal.
Yeah.
That was the time to actually switch things up, put additional pressure. But Carlo, no, he doesn't do that. He just waits for the 81st minute to actually make the first change. And by the time it's just too late. The game has gone. Our players were pretty tired.
Brahim should have been thrown on earlier.
Yeah.
Simple as.
Yeah. Even Kamavinga, we could have taken off Lucas Vasquez earlier on and, just push for it as soon as we scored the goal, but we just too not reactive enough.
Ashik was mentioning Vasquez's fuck up at right back is not on Vasquez. He's not a right back. The guys will do what he was asked to do without question. Ashik was mentioning United Valencia is a bad example. Public teams from North America can probably beat them now. Yeah, but I'm just talking about the character that our team showed. I was super proud that night in particular. But yeah, in perspective, when I see Barcelona just take them to the brothel and come back clean, it just makes us look like clowns, doesn't it? Right. He was also mentioning Rodrigo played well today. Rodrigo didn't even need the Paul.
You didn't get it? Because it's Rodrigo de Paul.
No. Oh, okay. Ashik, man, come on. My head isn't really nearly there tonight, but yeah, Ashik was mentioning Vinny's head is a bit inflated now. Modric managed to deflate it a bit. More deflation needed. Yeah, what did you think about all that? Like, do you think it has something that needs to be addressed? When I first heard about it, I think it was before the post-match against in the Copa del Rey against Leganes. Like I was reading,
even before that, I feel like in the Espanyol game too, he had an incident with Ceballos. Was it? Yeah, so I don't know, man. Like these things,
it's completely normal.
Right? It didn't used to happen. Like, and the only thing is, teammates do argue amongst each other. There's no need to actually, highlight this just because it's pushing the agenda against Vinny. But
and the clicks and the money. That's why.
And the clicks and the money, yeah. But still, like, since Modric is involved, I don't know.
Yeah.
People didn't really like that.
And people could have a reason. Modric doesn't really get that riled up, right? Like he rarely, shows that kind of emotion, especially towards his own teammates. But it's necessary for some of these men to wake up. It's necessary. I'm happy that there's someone shouting at these guys, because Carlo, there's only so much he can do when the game is going on. Mo was so mad. Remember the group chat he was mentioning, and Mini should have been pulled off. I mean, yeah, people are really getting annoyed by Vinicius. But I still truly believe he's going to come in good. Once the bigger games come into the equation.
That means like in 3 days, we face against Man City.
He better, man. He better. I'm telling you. I'm pretty sure Rodrigo is going to turn up. Customary Rodrigo goal is part of the tradition. Like how we have Steve on tomorrow. People, if you guys need to prep yourself for what that is going to be about. Be ready. It's going to be 1 p.m. EST, 7 p.m. Madrid, 6 p.m. UK. It's going to be interesting. Where we kind of pick things off from what we talked about in the last preview, because both teams were in a different kind of um, mental space entirely last year. But Yashik is mentioning Vinny is strolling around because he's acclimatizing for the Saudi League, since he knows that he can get away with it there. My goodness, yeah, I don't know. I'm really trying to piece things together. How people think that's gonna happen and whatnot. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Um, Ashik was mentioning. Don't forget, Carlo made his first change against Espanyol at the 80th minute as well. Right. Ashik was mentioning Mo is correct. Vinny should have been pulled off instead of Rodrigo. Rodrigo is a different player when playing from the left. Do you think Rodrigo on the left is the way forward, Jacob? It's never going to happen, but
I have no problem against like mid to lower teams. Rodrigo can do a job,
yeah,
but against the likes
the
of
big
Bayern,
games.
against the likes of Liverpool, I don't think Rodrigo can actually do the same things that Vinny can do.
Yeah. Asensio won 5 out of 5 duels, completed 49 out of 51 passes, and got dribble pass 0 times. Asensio looks like a neat and tidy player, right? Like, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Tchouaméni is getting comfortable playing with him.
Yeah, what do you actually think about Asensio being the man to put forward and Tchouaméni being the last man? I feel like if the roles can be reversed, it may give Tchouaméni a better performance going forward. But I don't know. What did you think of that setup?
So what you're basically implying that Tchouaméni is better to hang back?
No, I'm saying he shouldn't hang back here. Right now, in this team, he's the last man playing.
Yeah, he shouldn't. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Asensio drives with the ball well. I mean, even Tchouaméni did it a couple of times this game. He did it to great effect. But yeah, like 1v1, Tchouaméni just looks super nervous. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't know how to position himself. His body language is all wrong. I mean, it isn't surprising, is it? Like, he's not a centre back. But I do think, yeah, like Asensio should be the guy to. But you can't do that every time, Jacob. Like, if you make it a fixed plan,
Yeah.
a part of being a setup, teams are going to sniff that out and basically try to capitalize on the. But yeah, Asensio in isolation. Are you impressed so far, Jacob?
Definitely, man. Like he's been most stable centre back this season outside of Rudiger.
Yeah.
Whoever else has played, has looked worse than him, to be honest. Yeah. So Asensio has my vote to continue as the starting centre back for the rest of the season, but we all know that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Even Jacobo, like, I mean, it was a rusty, debut, full debut for him against Leganes, but like, people rate him higher than Asensio. They do rate him really, really high. And whenever I've seen Jacobo being mentioned, and the kind of games he has played, especially for Castilla this season, bagging in headers left, right, and center. I do think in the long run he might, usurp him and basically go higher up in the pecking order. But I just hope we get enough games this season to actually give this guy a chance. Because at this rate, when we are just crawling by, against low-tier opposition, when can we really rest players and give, the kids a chance? It's not going to happen. Gonzalo Garcia, like, I wanted him to come on, Jacob. Be an option, right? Like, to end the game, if we had him and guys like Fran or Vasquez, if they stayed on and picked in crosses, like, I do think they would have had a better chance compared to all these guys just waiting around the box, outside the box. Mbappe outside the box, like, he's coming deep and basically expecting someone to magically appear, appear behind him to finish chances off. They're just so averse to basically being that target man, right? Like it's
Yeah.
yeah. I don't
The
know
only
what
player
to say.
capable of being the target man here is Jude Bellingham, man. He was too tied up. He was too busy this game just mopping things up that he couldn't really do it consistently.
Remember the days when we used to have 4, 5, 6 players, 4, 5, 6
All of
players.
them who could head the ball in. Yeah, those days are long gone, man. That's long
Just
gone.
imagine the headache that would give opposition defenses. Are you going to mark Bale? Are you going to mark Cristiano? Are you going to mark Benzema? Are you going to mark Ramos? Are you going to mark Pepe?
Yeah.
Vasquez used to bang in headers. Mariano used to bang in headers. Morata used to bang in headers.
Yeah.
Our 16-17 season double is based on the back of headers only.
Yep.
Right? Like if you look back at those games, Jacob, like I'm pretty sure your memory is better than mine. Like we've had phases like this.
Dude, Zidane had one tactic: cross and inshallah, and we could only do that because of the players who could head the ball in.
Yeah, it became a meme because of that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Where we used to have phases like these, games like these, where all hope was lost, but then Ramos would come in with, a 90-minute winner. But yeah,
I mean, like for me, this game, like maybe we could have seen a different result, somehow eked out a win if Carlo could have made some changes earlier on. Bring in like Gonzalo Garcia or Enric or whoever he's comfortable with. Just try to make some changes.
and we ain't winning a game with Enric. This kind of game, no. I was being hopeful earlier parts of the season that like he can make a difference, but yeah, man, he's very raw, very raw. When teams sit back and basically try to see a game out, Enric isn't the guy to unlock anything. No, he can't combine well. He's gonna go for a half chance spot shot from 40 yards into row Z. He's gonna kill a season ticket holder who has been coming to the stadium for the last 40 years for no reason. Jacob, it's
Oh boy. I don't know. Enric does not deserve this, man. Like I feel like we still might have seen a couple of extra chances if he was brought on instead of someone else. Either way, the game's gone. So what? We're 1 point ahead of Atleti, and two ahead of Barca. Is that it?
I'm not sure. Is it 2 or 3? Take a look at let me take a look at the table. It's better for you. Let me go through Carlos' comments. What did he say?
Yeah. Okay. Barca have a game in hand, and they're 5 points away from us. So, 2 points if they win their next game.
Modric and Kamavinga against City. He was mentioning who didn't start tonight have an advantage to start. Modric away at the Etihad. I'm not sure.
Are you sure about Ceballos away at the Etihad?
I do think, yeah. Like, I do think those two can actually do well, because when I look at City's midfield, like unless they do something drastic, like even the guy who's supposed to play the 6, he limped off today, Nico Gonzalez. If you remember Barca's academy player and whatnot. Their current situation with Bernardo and Kovacic isn't really optimal. They don't have the legs. They don't have the the ability to cover the distances, especially in transition. And I do think Modric and Ceballos. I mean, those two together will be a bit too much. I don't think they're going to cancel each other out way too much. But one of them is going to be vital, I do think. Right. Yeah, Ancelotti was mentioning the game was equal, like all the derbies we competed. We didn't compete in the first half, big man. I'll be very honest. But yeah, 3 derbies, 3 draws. I mean, if someone is tuning in for the first time and watching this like, it's hyped up to be, the derby the whole world is tuning into, and they see this kind of a performance from both sides. I mean, like, what is the impression? It's gonna leave, because when I got into football, my first game was a 5-0 loss away at the Nou Camp, and the way Barcelona played, it captured my imagination. Imagine these guys, new fans who are gonna, turn on the TV and watch this. Mbappe is supposed to be the best player in the world. Vinicius is the best winger in the world, right?
Yeah, I mean,
how far our game has fallen.
even games against Getafe are sometimes more fun than this derby, man. At this point,
Yeah,
the last derby that was really fun was in the Super Copa. Beyond that,
yeah.
it's just been a sad little affair.
Mm. Lucas Vasquez is coming and talking to the press. He's mentioning they were winning without having done practically nothing. It changed the game.
True.
Right. Just in the VR audio regarding the pen, referee says, I need more images. I need to see it better.
Yeah,
VR team, there are no images.
there are no images.
Referee's like, okay, I see that he stepped on him. It is a penalty. I will give it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how we thought, the referee was thinking.
Mm.
They weren't really much images. He was just guessing at that point,
Yeah.
and he just guessed against us.
Guessed against us. These fucking men, man. They have no right to earn a living. I'm telling you, they have absolutely no right. It's clearly written in the law. If it is clear and obvious, yeah, you make an intervention. You decide to rule in favor or against someone. But when there isn't clear enough evidence, you just disregard it, man. Come on. Sharik, big up yourself. Was mentioning, hey guys, guest I joined late, probably missed a lot of the discussion, but I think we played a good game. Hard luck for hitting the post and missing a couple of chances, but yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, man, big up yourself. He says, "Hala Madrid." On to the next one, vamos. Yeah, Tuesday. Big up Tuesday. Big up Tuesday. I hope we win. I hope we win. Even if we win, Jacob, Atleti or Leverkusen, Atleti again probably in the Copa del Rey semi-finals.
Yeah,
Are we going to handle it? Are we going to handle it? People can hype us up. Best team in the world, blah blah blah. Madrid, Madrid, Madrid. Do we really have the balls to survive?
I don't know, man. Like I'm just gonna answer for Atleti. We might potentially face off against them 5 times in 6 months. That's what me and Farouk were discussing in the preview.
My goodness, yeah, I heard that. Yeah,
yeah, but I'm confident against Atleti, man. If this is the Atleti that turns up, I feel like we can beat them in all the competitions.
And they have a psychological block against us, like we have against Barcelona, right?
Exactly.
I mean, it's what do you call it? The what pyramid? There's a pyramid, right? The lion eats the bull, and the bull eats the
the food chain or something. Yeah.
The food chain. That's how the food chain goes, right? Like at least for this season. Fucking hell, with Barcelona, they have a number on us. Like, I just hope we don't face them up until the final. If we do get to the final, which I do truly believe that this coaching staff, despite all their flaws, and this team is very much capable of. They just need to turn up on the given night, and we should be good. But yeah, 2 city previews in the making. Hopefully, 1 p.m. tomorrow, 7 p.m. Madrid, and 9:30 p.m. Madrid on Monday, 2:30 p.m. Around 2:30 or 2:45 on Monday as well, EST. We'll be joined by Martin again. So Martin and Steve for this time. For the second leg, we'll be looking at a couple fresh faces to join the preview and kind of spice up the discussion a bit more. City is always nice. I know it's stressful, but it is a big game. It is the biggest game yet for both teams this season. Let's see where we are at. It's going to be a stern test. But yeah, man, big up our sponsors. LBI20, Manscaped, go check them out. Big up Fanatics, go check them out. Probably the biggest sports apparel collection online. Go show them some love. Big up Talksport as well, the biggest sports radio station in the world. Go show their socials some love. Any last thoughts, Jacob, quickly?
Last thoughts. This was supposed to be the training match before the big match against City.
Yep.
I don't think
this a training match. I like it. I back it.
I don't really think it was a fruitful session, man. I just have more questions and answers at this point. Hopefully, Carlo learned something from this and at least fixes his substitution routine. So imagine if he had to get a goal, at the Etihad, and he waits until the 85th minute or something to make a change. I would lose it. Absolutely lose it.
Another bit of conversation was mentioned, Lucas Vasquez and the referee, they exchanged a few words, and I think it's the referee who was mentioning, for me live, I don't see it. Everything looks like a penalty in slow motion. It's almost like there's a huge amount of pressure on the ref to rule against us. I don't know, man. But yeah, if we don't win the league, there is a whole fucking documentary coming out, on Apple TV for sure. Keep your eyes peeled out in the next 5-6 months. I know a club has a good relationship with Apple TV, so it's gonna be there. I'm not even saying it's gonna be on Prime or Netflix. I just know for a fact it's gonna be on Apple TV. It's gonna be in 4K. But yeah, man. Pick up everyone in the chat. Big up people tuning in later on as well. Big up our audio community for always showing us love, being a backbone for the last 4.5 years or so. Big up Real Madrid committee as well. Go check them out. A link is in the description. They run a brilliant Real Madrid fan page as well. But yeah, boys. Until next time. Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.
Hola Madridistas, I'm back once again to remind you that if you want to help and support this project of ours, this channel, you can do so by going to manscaped.com, using our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping worldwide. That's our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. You help us out and you get a cool product. This time I'm here to introduce you guys to the Chairman Pro. It is a trimmer that features 2 interchangeable blade heads, one called the 4-blade foil, which is to get that super smooth baby skin, and the other one is called the stubble trimmer, for if you want to still have that little bit of stubble but look a bit cleaner and fresher. You can do both with the same trimmer. It also features flex adjust technology. It adjusts it to your face, how you shave. You can also lock it for full precision. Best thing is waterproof. You can shave yourself in the shower if you want to. It's completely waterproof. It features 75 hours of battery life, so if you're going on some kind of travel, you can charge it beforehand and it will still have enough battery for the trip. Also, if you're going on a trip, you can lock it so that it doesn't turn on as you go. It has an LED. It's a great thing, and especially now that Christmas is coming up, if you want to send it as a gift to your boyfriend, or if you're a man, get it for yourself or your brother, dad. It's a great gift for any man, and this bad boy can even get up to like 5 days of beard, so you don't even need to trim it down before you can fully shave it. This does it for you. So yeah, get this at manscaped.com. use our code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. That's code LBR20 to get 20% off and free shipping. Thank you for watching, and back to the video.